Hi, welcome back. My name is Carson and this is my channel where I talk about all things knitting, mostly rambling. So yeah, thanks for joining, whether you've been joining for the past few videos or are new. So yeah, let's just get into it. Today I decided to do a little knit and chat because I'm still working on lots of whips. So this will be fun. I've never done this before. I did ask for some questions because there ain't no telling what will come out of my mouth if I just sat down here and started talking. So yeah, I have some questions that people asked, but just grab whatever you got. Grab knitting project, crochet project, any project, sit down, let's just like chill. Here we go. So I will be working on the June top today, which is a story. I casted this baby on after my podcast because it obviously was not in my last podcast. I casted on I think it's camisole number 4, and that was gonna be like my summer knit that I knit on for a while I knit on lots of other stuff. And I talked about how I thought about doing the June top instead, and I wasn't sure how far I was going to get with it before I ripped it up. I didn't end up working on it anymore, and I haven't ripped it up. I don't know if I'll keep it or not, but I cast it on the June top. I really thought I would rip it up and make the June top with that yarn, but we went on a little city adventure. This weekend twice. And I got to visit some yarn shops since we were in the city twice. There's a story to that. Where should I put this? Maybe I'll put it in my fun little bag. I got this bag. Random topic change. I've never had a project bag before. I just have random like baskets in my house that I take things in, and if I take things on the road, I just take them with me. I don't really put them in anything besides my purse. So I found this bad boy at Target in the dollar section. It wasn't $1, it was $5. But it's like a canvas bag. It's really sturdy, and it has a drawstring inside. So it's kind of like the project bag you see on Etsy. So it was labeled as like a canvas storage bag. And I was like, that would be great for my knitting projects. And I took it with me on the road because we were on the road twice. Anyways, where was I before that? Let me just put this right there. Oops, we got hung on something. Short break while I figure out what's happening. Okay, we're back. Okay, so yes, we went to the city. I guess I'll just start with the story. We had a very exciting weekend. For like a month, my husband told me, he was like, Carson, I need you to take off a little bit early on this Friday because there's a film festival. He's a part of an organization, like a wildlife organization that advocates for public land. So there was a film festival rolling through, and since we live close-ish to Houston, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, and I want you to come with me. So he bought tickets and everything, and he was like, for a month at least, he was like, it's gonna be on this Friday. So we take off work, really excited just to get out of the house, especially to take off work early, so that was fun. But I told him, I was like, there's a yarn store, I guess I should knit too and talk. This might not go great. I get very distracted. Also I set a timer on my phone. I'm on my lunch break right now, just because, you know, the sun's out, it's nice. If my timer goes off, it's because I need to wrap it up. So I have a timer for like 40-ish minutes, because I gotta get back to work eventually. Okay. Back to the story. So basically what I'm trying to say is I got to visit a yarn store because we were going to the Houston area, and there's a yarn store here to me, but I like visiting other yarn stores. And I found 2 actually that were in the Houston area, but we only had time to go to 1. So I was like, okay, let's leave a little bit early. Let's go to this yarn store. He was all down for it. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I got to go to a yarn store on Friday. I think it was called Pearly Girls Knit Store or something like that, in Spring, Texas. It was super cute. They had a ton of stuff. They had a ton of summer blend yarn. They had a ton of knitting for Olive. They just had a lot of stuff, and my main goal was look for baby stuff because I just love buying, like, you know, a hank of thin ring weight yarn and knitting a baby thing with it. So I was just kind of like on the hunt for some baby, like superwash, merino type blends. Okay, I gotta take another break. I turned my fan off thinking it would help the sound. But it's so hot. 1 second. Let me turn my fan back on. I'm sorry if there's a muffly sound. Okay, this is a mess already. This is my energy today. This is a Monday. I'm filming this on Monday. Not sure when you'll be watching this. Maybe Wednesday. But it's a Monday. You know, we're getting it together. Okay, so I'm trying to recap my insane weekend, which it was really fun. So I got to go to a yarn store, and they had a ton of summer blends, so I grabbed this yarn, and I did bring my yarn basket with me because I wanted to show off all my fun yarn. It's bamboo pop, so it's cotton and bamboo, and I've never tried it before, and it's DK, and I liked it because it has this marled, I'm really far away, I don't know if you can see it. No, probably not. It has this like marled, it's definitely pink, but it also has like a really light beige in there too, just like twisted. Anyway, so I got that, and then I didn't knit on it Friday because obviously I bought the yarn for Friday. And anyway, so we go to the store. Oh, and I'll show you the other hank I got. Not hank, it's a cake because I got a yarn winder, y'all. I got a yarn winder and a Swift, and I've been just winding up all my yarn. Okay, so I got this. It is hedgehog fibers. I've never gotten their yarn before, but it's so pretty, and it's in the color clay. I got this for a baby knit. I don't know if you can tell the color. It is, whenever I was winding it on the Swift, just from far away, I was like, did I just get a plain brown? Because it looks much more like golden-y, not golden, but like orangey kind of. I don't know, there's definitely like a tint of orange or red, and me and my husband both really liked this color. So I got it, but then on the Swift, it just looked plain brown, so I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna knit our little child something with that. Okay, so we went to that yarn store. It was fun, I had a great time. So we go eat somewhere because it's in a really cute area of Spring. It's like Old Town Spring. So we go eat somewhere, and then we drive to the location where the film festival's at, and there's no one there. And we already had an issue because he didn't know if it started at 4 or 6 because both were on the tickets. So ended up, the doors opened at 4, but it started at 6. So we got there on 5, and no one was there, so he just kept driving past the venue because he was like, that's weird. No one's there, so let's just do something else for like hot minutes. We're not just being awkward. So we go just random somewhere else, and then we come back, and it's like 5:30, and we get out of the truck, and it's still weird because like there's barely anyone there. So we like slowly get out of the truck and prepare ourselves to be, you know, weirdly social because it is like an organizational event. I'm sorry, my posture is terrible. I don't know what I'm doing today. Okay, so it's this organizational event. It's Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. That's his organization he's a part of. So it's like kind of a social gathering beforehand, but like there was, like we said, no cars were there. Like there was 1 or 2. People were there, but so then before we go inside, he looks at his phone real quick and he goes, oh my gosh, it's not today, it's tomorrow. He got the days wrong. So we drove, it's supposed to be an hour and a half, but it was definitely over because of construction, which was fine. I mean, I got to take off work early, you know, it was fine. And so he was kind of down about it. He was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I did that. Because, I mean, he told me for at least a month. He knew it was, just in his mind, he thought it was on Friday for a month at least. So, anyways, it's just a funny situation because you're like, oh my god, we drove all the way here. And at this point, it's like 5 maybe. No, 5:30. So you're like, listen, we can just like do whatever, drive home, you know, dogs are home, we can let them out. It won't be a super late night tonight. And we can just come back tomorrow. So, yeah, we drove home. We went to a really good little Hispanic bakery. That was fun. So, I mean, we got to do stuff that we wouldn't normally do on Friday. But we had to go back. So, I got to go to another yarn store on Friday. No, Saturday. Because we had to drive back to Spring, which was like an hour and a half away. And so, like, this is a great opportunity. Let's just go to another yarn store. He's like, yeah, okay. So we went to this other yarn store that's, again, in Old Town Spring, and it was called Knitwork Social or something like that. I'll put, I'll put the names here because I never get names right. And it was so nice. I got so much yarn. It was so fun too because I want to say I just got baby yarn there, and so Logan was with me and he like helped me pick out yarn and he had a good time too, so I got to go there as well. And I guess I'll show you the yarn I got from there because it's actually really cool. I'm excited about this. I've never gotten this type of yarn before. It's called Queensland Collection Perth Australian Superwash Wool Blend. So it is wool and maybe nylon, I think. I could look, but I'm not going to. But it's like this really cool, almost reminds me of Spin Cycle. I've never used Spin Cycle either. I've just seen it. And it's just really fun. It's like green, orange, blue, all these different colors. It's fingering. And then Logan picked out this one, same situation, just different colorway. It's more like grays and blues. Really pretty. So we got those, and then we also got this guy, which is like sage, and this is, what is this? Is it Malabrigo? Yeah, Malabrigo sock. Superwash merino sock base, and maybe 10% nylon or something. So it's kind of like this sagey green. So pretty. So we racked up on the baby knit yarn. Anyways. So that's what I was gonna say. That's why I casted on the June top. So I casted this on Friday night because I was like, we have a whole like 3 hours total in the car, so I can just take it with me. And so Saturday morning, I found the bag at Target and I was like, oh my gosh, got a little road trip situation going on. So yeah, I took this with me because it's just stockinette for a while. So I'm glad I casted this on. It was sporadic, kind of, random, just, it was not really planned. But I did it, and I'm glad I did this, because it's just easy to knit on, and I can, talk to y'all on it for a hot minute. So yeah, that was my long story. Anyways, I had quite a fun, adventurous weekend, but the film festival was good. Yeah, definitely more up my husband's alley, but I will go and support him, always. They had free snacks, which was nice. Yeah, it was a good time. We ate at Whataburger. Haven't eaten there forever. I don't think we've even eaten there since we've been back to Texas, like since December, which is strange. If you've never had Whataburger, it's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of fast food or burgers, especially right now. Burgers are the one food that I cannot do. But I got some chicken strips and gravy, and it was good. Anyways, I don't know why I'm giving you a recap of my weekend, but oh yeah, because I got yarn. Okay, yeah, that's the backstory of my current whip. So yeah, I'm just gonna work on this while I talk to y'all, because it's easy. Hopefully I won't mess up too bad. Like I said, I do get distracted, so I might just like stop knitting and start talking. Or forget that I'm chatting and keep knitting. Okay, anyways, hope y'all had a good weekend. Ours is good. It was just a lot of traveling, but I like to travel. I like road trips. It's a fun time. I actually got a lot done yesterday, knitting-wise. I don't know why. My fingers did not stop moving yesterday at all. I worked on the halibut sweater yesterday, which if you haven't seen my other videos, you might not know, but I'm making that for my husband. It's been a very long whip. Mostly just, it was kind of a UFO for a while, just didn't touch it. But I'm on a sleeve now, which is, oh no. Oh, thought I lost my marker. Nope, it's fine. I'm on a sleeve now, so that's why I'm not knitting on that, because I'm actually to a point where I need to think and just, count decreases and stuff, and I don't trust my brain to do that right now. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I was gonna say, my fingers have not stopped knitting since yesterday, well, besides work today. But yeah, so yesterday, Sunday, we just chilled because we've been on the road for 2 days. Not 2 whole days, but we went out and about for 2 days. So we just chilled and I knit a lot. We joined a gym because it's just really hot here, and we do go on walks every now and then in the evenings, but it's still really hot and we just need somewhere to work out. And like our old apartment had a gym. So it's just, I don't know, this is the first gym I've actually joined. Because like in college, I already had a gym. Like included in college. That definitely wasn't free, but it's for college students. And then I lived in a lot of apartments that had gyms. This is the first gym I've actually joined, and it's really nice. It's kind of like a branch of our hospital, and it's very clean. There's lots of cool programs. My problem is I don't know what to do since I'm pregnant. I don't know what I can and can't do really, because they have lots of cool yoga classes I see, and I love doing yoga, and I used to really like doing yoga classes, but I just don't know what I can and can't do really. Like I have to look everything up on Pinterest or YouTube before I work out for like specific prenatal workouts, but anyways. Okay, so I'm getting sidetracked again. We went to the gym, but not to work out, yesterday, because they have a pool that's outside, and we've never been to the pool before, and it is open all week right now, but it's on really weird hours in the week, and like I'm working when it's open during the week, so we went on Sunday. It was so nice. It was so nice. Should do that so much more often. So I brought this guy yesterday to the pool, and I knit on it for a while. So, I mean, you can't really tell. There's like a few inches there. 3 inches maybe. We're just knitting. So yeah, I had a good weekend. Maybe I'll get into questions now that I was asked before my timer goes out on me and I have to sadly go back to work. But yeah, maybe this will be a good time to, I don't know, I feel like I'm really bad at intros, so I don't talk a whole lot before I just get into all my stuff. I guess it just feels so awkward, so maybe we'll get to know a little bit more about, I don't know, about ourselves. So yeah, I'll start. Took a lot of pictures. Okay, 2 people asked where I met my husband, so I'll get into that one first. And this might be a lengthy story too. Me and my husband were made for each other, but it's hilarious because we actually went to high school together. He's 2 years older than me, so he was 2 grades older than me, 2 grades above me. And it's funny because I was really good friends with his brother. I will say we went to a really small school. My town is really small. He transferred, but I'm like from that town. And so, you know, we grow up knowing they're like the same, you know, boys and girls in our class, and so it was funny because whenever someone moved in, all the girls, or like if a guy moved in, it was like, oh my gosh, there's a new guy, you know. So Logan moved whenever I was in 8th grade, and it's funny because I remember giving him his tour. I was a teacher's daughter, I was the counselor's daughter, and then I was the junior high principal's daughter while I was in junior high, so that was a whole thing. My mom is a cool lady. But at the time I didn't think it was very cool that she was my mom and she was my principal. Anyways, I got over that though. So I was at the school a lot with my mom, and we had an orientation, and Logan and his brother Garrett, who was in my grade, moved. And I totally remember giving him a tour of the school because my mom just sent me on that task. And Garrett, his brother, was also there as well. But I remember I just had my eyes on Logan. I was like, wow, he's so cute. Given I was in 8th grade and he was in 10th? So that's a little bit weird. But I had like the biggest crush on him from day one. Okay, so fast forward. Huge crush on him. I'm in high school now, 9th grade. Pretty sure we're in the same class, either 9th grade or 10th grade. We had one of the same classes because it's a super small school, you know. And I was so shy. Imagine my hair right now, but like triangle. I would brush my hair, I don't know why. So my hair, I have really poofy hair. So it was like here, but like just whoosh, just very poofy. I didn't know how to style my hair back then. I still don't, honestly. And I had glasses. I can't remember. At one point I did have like super square glasses that refracted in the sun, which I think are making a comeback now, but back then it looked crazy on me. And anyways, I had braces. I was just like your classic, I don't know. I was definitely a little quirky. And I'm still quirky. And I was super shy too back then, so I had a huge crush on Logan. He was the class clown for sure, but he wasn't like the annoying class clown. He was just really funny, and he still is really funny. So I had class with him, and I had the biggest crush on him, and he does not even remember having that class with me, which is crazy. I was like, I had the biggest crush on you, and you do not even remember. Like, that class every day was the highlight of my day. I was just going to that class because I kind of sat in front of him, so I got to look at him a lot. I don't know. Anyways, super nerdy Carson back in the day. Huge crush on Logan Hope. So even like after that, it's so funny to look back now because we had no idea back then that we would marry each other. Like, I could only dream. It's hilarious. So anyways, he graduates. I'm in high school. I've always been really good friends with his brother. Like, we not grew up together, but you know, after middle school we grew up together. And so I would see Logan occasionally, but he never like talked to me directly, you know? We were just like in the same vicinity. He probably didn't even notice me. But it was funny because we had golf together. I was forced to play golf one year. I wasn't forced, it was an option, but like they needed someone else on the team, so I was like, fine, I'll do it. Literally hated golf, still do. I would just like pick up my ball and put the maximum amount on the scorecard. I was over it. But Logan was on the golf team. Maybe that's why I joined. But he swears that he taught me how to putt. I was like, no way. If you put your arms around me and taught me how to putt, I would have remembered that. You did not do that. Oh my gosh. Anyways, this is gonna be a very long story. So yeah, high school, we were around each other. Even though it was a super small school, we never like talked to each other. Maybe like once. But I remember also this very funny instance. I pretty sure he was a senior and maybe I was in 10th grade. Yeah, that would work out. That would be the math on that. We were on like this little, we had gone to some UIL academic competition and a few of us had to go back. So we also had a track meet at the same time. So like we were in this little van with just a few of us from the UIL meet. I don't know if this makes any sense to y'all. Is that a thing outside of Texas? I don't know. It's just like this academic competition. I don't know if y'all have that too. Literally don't know, but anyways, so there's a few of us on this little school van and I was the last one to be picked up, so I had to scoot in between someone and it was in between Logan. So I got to sit like right in the middle of the van and I was just like in awe. Like the entire car ride, I wish it could have gone longer because he did talk to me because, you know, we were sitting together. But he was just so funny, acting up, you know, singing songs, being crazy. That is a core memory in my brain because it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is a great day. Okay, anyway, so fast forward. He graduates. I don't forget about him, but you know, I gotta move on with my life. He graduated. He didn't really talk to me, whatever. It was just a crush, you know, just a crush. And I honestly didn't date that much in high school. I dated, I guess, a couple guys, but I had a boyfriend maybe on and off here and there. Nothing serious. My problem with guys, like, once I started dating them, I just couldn't see myself with them forever. And I just bounced. I mean, it was respectable, but I definitely remember that happening. Anyways, I guess that's more about, like, how I knew Logan was for me. That's a later story. So, I'm a senior in high school, and all of a sudden I see, like, his brother just, like, being silly and Snapchatting photos of me in class. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sending them to Logan. He has a big crush on you. I was like, what? I don't know. I wish he was here. He's not here right now. I should get his half of the story. I don't know how, but he formed a crush on me after he was out of, you know, high school. Maybe it's because I was older. I matured. I was pretty mature back then anyways, but, you know, I lost the glasses, lost the braces. Classic, you know, glow up story. Which I generally look the same. I don't know. So I think he just started to be interested in me, but in like a funny way, and honestly, I don't know. I had a lot of family who worked at the school, because it's such a small school. So I feel like boys all the time would be like, oh, Carson. They would just joke with me a lot, and I don't know, it was kind of sad. Like, they'd be like, oh, Carson, I want to go out with you. But it was just a joke. They were just like, and not because I was nerdy or anything. I don't know. So I genuinely thought it was a joke. Because I was like, there's no way Logan wants to date me. There's absolutely no way. So that happened the entirety of my senior year. Just like hearing conversations between Garrett and Logan. Garrett would show me, his brother would show me text messages, and Logan would be like, is Carson there with you? Just like these funny little things. And I was like, this is a joke. This is truly a joke. Like, tell him to talk to me if he really wants to, you know, date me or whatever. Anyways, so I totally remember his brother telling me before we graduated, he was like, I'm pretty sure Logan's gonna come talk to you at graduation. Like, I think that's gonna be the time where he comes and talks to you. So let me tell you, I didn't really tell anyone that I had this big crush on him. I didn't really tell anyone. I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything. But let me tell you, I did stay late after graduation. Because I was like, Logan's gonna come up, he's gonna talk to me. Because, his brother graduated with me, so I knew he was there. I was like, Logan, this is gonna be the moment Logan finally talks to me. Did he? No. He did not talk to me. So I remember driving home. My mom literally texted me. She was like, where are you? Like, they had a little, graduation party. She's like, your family's here. Like, where are you? It's just like, just staying in the back, seeing, talking to people. This cracks me up to think about. Oh my gosh. So I drove back home and I literally told myself, I was like, Carson, you're moving off to Austin. You do not need a boyfriend. This is not a sad moment. Just had this pep talk with myself in the car. Because, up until then, I literally thought it was a joke, but I just had this hope on graduation that Logan would come talk to me. Just at least talk to me, not even whatever. So I just had this big conversation in my head. I was like, you know what, Carson, you're graduating, you're moving off to Austin, you're going to have a totally different life, Just college dreams, and I was like, it'll be okay. Okay, well, then I get a message on Instagram, like a few weeks later after I graduated, and it was Logan Hope. And this is hilarious because I recently figured out where this was from. So Logan is very quirky, just like me. But he just has like this way with words. He's really funny. That's all I can say. He's really funny. And he texted me this very Logan message on Instagram. It was like, if you ever want to like get yogurt, get ice cream or something, email me, text me. It was this, I still have it on my Instagram. I can't say it, verbatim, but it was just really funny. It was this very oddly worded, like quirky message. And I was like, of course. Okay, well I have never watched the movie Old School before with Will Ferrell on it. We watched it Thursday maybe, like last Thursday. And there was one part where I was like, Carson, listen, you have to pay attention to this. You have to pay attention to this. And Will Ferrell said the quote that Logan said to me whenever he asked me out. So the whole time it was a movie quote, and I did not know, and I just died. I was like, are you kidding me? Anyway, so that's how I met my husband. He's quirky. I'm quirky. We fit very well together. It's funny, I even told him this weekend, I was like, I genuinely cannot imagine my life without you. Like, we complete each other in the best way. And so it's just really funny to look back at those high school days when, like, I had a big crush on him. He did not even notice me. And, like, we're even in pictures together. But, like, he'll be in the background or we'll be, like, somewhere near each other. It'll pop up on Facebook, like, at a track meet or something. And we're not even acknowledging each other because we literally didn't even talk to each other back then. So it's just really funny to, like, go back whenever we were on the golf team. Like, we had no idea we were going to marry each other. Or have, like, a baby together. Crazy. Okay, so that's a long story short of how I met my husband. It's getting dark outside. Hopefully it's not too dark in here. I feel like it was really sunny and then it just got dark. Okay. So yeah, I do want to do maybe a podcast or a knit and chat whether Logan's like with me. We can like chat together, because he's really funny and he's very supportive. He actually got me started knitting. I guess I can talk about this too. Let me look at my timer and see if I've just been chatting forever. Oh my gosh, I have 10 minutes left. I'm gonna add some time onto that because it doesn't feel like I've been doing this for that long. Okay, short intermission while I reset. Because I'm gonna go a little bit longer. I feel like I haven't been going that long. I'm just chatty today. That's great though, right? It's an in chat. Okay. So Logan is actually the one who got me started knitting because I would constantly go into, like, yarn stores, even just, like, craft stores, like Hobby Lobby. I would go in there and I would go to the yarn section. I had no idea why I was so drawn to yarn, but I would just, like, it was a joke, kind of, but I would just go through the yarn and touch them all, and he's like, oh gosh, Carson's in the yarn section. And at one point I did have a huge hoard of yarn, just, like, store-bought yarn, because I made my own loom in high school. And I was weaving for a hot second. It didn't last very long. But so it was funny because I always had this like random stash of yarn in my room, and every time Logan saw it, whenever we first started dating, he was like, what is that yarn for? I was like, I don't know, really. So I always was super drawn to yarn. And so after we got married, we moved to Washington. Immediately after, literally, timeline was like, I graduated college. I I want to say a week later, 2 weeks later, we got married, moved to Washington, and so we spent like our first Christmas. Oh, I think we came back for Christmas, but it was like our first time being alone for, you know, the holidays. I'm very close with my family. I have a huge family, so it was like quite an adjustment for me at first. So I was just like kind of down and sad, and so Logan was like, Carson, I have a Christmas present that will really cheer you up. And this was weeks before Christmas, and I was like, no, I don't want to open your Christmas present right now. It's not Christmas yet, you know. And he was just really like, no, I think you need it right now. Like, I think you need this. So after much pressure, he had me open it, and it was a how to knit kit. And he had gone to Hobby Lobby, and it's still there. I saw it the other day. It's a little just like packet with a book and a pair of long needles, just like your very basic beginner package. And it was like, learn how to knit. And he also bought me a ton of yarn that, you know, he doesn't know yarn, and I didn't know yarn either at the time, like how I know it now. And it was like mohair and super, super bulky, like chunky blanket yarn, like nothing that actually went with the needles. And I didn't know either, you know, so it was just hilarious that he went and did that for me. Super sweet. So it took me, actually, I'm gonna segue into, there's a question. I'm pretty sure 2 people asked me, and I know these 2 people. They asked, like, what do you recommend for beginners? And it's funny because one of these people is a crocheter. She said, I'm so intrigued but so intimidated. And it's funny because I love her crochet projects and I'm intimidated by crochet. So it's just funny that it's like flip-flop for us. But so to that, any tips for starting if you are new to knitting, or if you're getting started, or if you're interested, just like do it. You just gotta do it. You gotta practice. This is why I segue. Whenever I got my knit kit, it took me months to make a square, like literally a swatch of garter stitch, which is just knit, 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 knit. It took me months to learn how to just knit stitch. Months. And I think my tip to you, I love my little, you know, learn how to knit kit. It was in words, and I'm not good at like visualizing words and instructions, if that makes any sense. I'm much better whenever I look at like a video and see people kind of teach me as I go. So I would say look up YouTube. I mean, I'm sure you've done that already, but if you haven't, just try it. There's a lot of really good channels out there just to teach you like how to get started. It honestly just takes time. And I would say start with like a swatch and then do maybe a garter stitch scarf. That's what I did. I'm just telling you what I did. Do like a garter stitch scarf where you literally just knit, 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 knit for rows and rows and rows. And that's a really good way just to like get in the rhythm of knitting and, you know, like turning your work and understanding the right side, the wrong side. But I will say what really picked up my knitting, like when I started knitting garments and stuff, was after I learned how to knit in the round. Because after I learned how to knit in the round, I feel like I could do anything. And after that, it was just like learning little things here and there. So yeah, I would say start small, start with like a swatch, and do not be frustrated. Because you're just doing it for fun, right? You're doing it for fun. You have no timeline. Just start. And if you have a local yarn store, I would go there because they're usually super nice. And they even sometimes offer classes. I never went to one, but I think that would be really helpful. And I definitely went before I knew what I was... Because there's a lot of stuff that goes into knitting that you might not think about. I don't even think about now because it's just like so natural to me. But like all the different yarn weights... It felt like a different language going into a yarn store and seeing like, you know, lace weight, fingering weight, DK weight, sport weight, Iran weight, like just all the different weights. And I had no idea. I didn't know what correlated with my needle size. I didn't even know if that mattered. I didn't even know if there were other needle sizes. Like I just had my straight stick needles that came with my booklet and was like, I'm good to go, you know? So I think visiting your local yarn store and like talking with people who work there could be really, really helpful. And yeah, just take your time. But as to making garments, I would say learn how to knit in the round. Knit beanies, that's what I did. I knit a ton of beanies, but after I got those beanies down, like I knew how to knit in the round, and that's what you need, you know? I mean, you can knit some garments flat, and you might like that better. I personally like knitting the round. But you know, you can just try out different techniques. Just like get started. I don't know if that's a dumb, you know, answer, but... If anyone else watching this has any, you know, beginner tips, feel free to share in the comments. And just, you know, let us know what you would do, because I'm sure there's a lot of great knitters out there. who have better tips than I do. I'm someone who just has to get going and do it. And yeah, just do it. Just do it. Anyways, okay. Next question. Ooh, yarn you'd love to try. I didn't think about this one beforehand. Yarn I would love to try. What do I see out there? Right now I'm really obsessed with indie yarn dyers. Like I don't know, they're just, I'm trying to think if there's anything out there that I would love to try. Ooh, you know what? Okay, so at one of these yarn stores, it was funny because like one yarn store had a lot of knitting for Olive and the other one had a lot of Noro yarn. And I've always wondered what the big deal is about Noro because I see people like rave about it all the time. And I almost bought some in there because they had a lot of summer blends. I thought it would be really cool for a June top, even though I've already casted one on. Like with all the gradients. So I think I would really like to try Noro. Maybe one of the summer blends. Yeah, that's my answer. Noro yarn. I think it would be, because I did see some people make the June top in Noro, and it was really cool, like all the different colors. I've never really used self-striping yarn. I've done variegated, but I would like to try out some more like gradual color variegation. Is it variegated still, or is it self-striping? I feel like it's a mix between the two, Noro, honestly. But that would be so much fun. So yeah, Noro. Also got a question about desert island yarn. Oh, that one's a hard one too. I think I'm gonna pretend like it's not a hot desert. And like I'm not knitting for survival. I'm not gonna take it that literally. I could, but I'm not. Just like the one yarn I think I can't live without. I think one I've used a lot and I think is practical for like colder weather here, particularly in Texas, is Baracco Vintage. I've used it in worsted. I really like the feel of it. I'm sure there's much cooler answers I could have answered. Much cooler answers I could have answered. I'm a mess today, y'all. I'm a mess. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think harder about that one. I'm sure I could think of something better, but right now, just in the moment, I think Baracco Vintage. It feels so nice, and I've knit some stuff out of it that I really like. I'm actually gonna rip up my sweater that I knit in it just because it turned out too small, because guess what? Didn't swatch. Turned out too small. Oh, guess what? I also did not swatch on this, and I'm wondering if it's gonna be too big. I would rather it be too big though than too small, for sure. I like oversized stuff, especially right now. So yeah, I think that's my desert yarn. That might have been the last question. Let me look. Oh, okay. Someone asked, how are you so good at photography? Any tips? Yeah, I have some photography tips. I actually have done photography. I'm gonna turn my timer off because I know it's about to go off. 1 second. Oh, I have 14 more minutes. No, I'll keep it on. Let's keep me on track. So yeah, I've actually done photography not my entire life, but since high school, early high school. So, I really enjoy taking photos of my knits. That's a reason why I really like Knitstagram, because I enjoy taking photos. And right now, at this point in my life, so me and my husband have a photography business, especially in Washington when we were there. I had a job back then when it was kind of like a mindless job in some ways, and so I had a lot more creative energy on the weekends or during the week, and now my job is more demanding, I guess, of my mentally it's more demanding. And so it was kind of like the perfect job in Washington for me, because I could, do my day job, I loved my coworkers, and then after working on the weekends I was like strictly doing photo stuff. And it was fine for that time in my life, and I even did that in college. Like at one point I had 3 jobs in college on top of college, and one of those was like photography, but it was definitely still a job that I got paid for, and I devoted a lot of time to. But so yeah, I've done a lot of photography in my life, but it was like, I was gonna say, me and my husband I'm not gonna say we still do some photo stuff here and there, but we have a photo business. In Washington we shot elopements, which was something I'd always wanted to do, and it was so much fun. Just like getting to hike and meet really fun people. I feel like I was a lot more social when I was doing more photography stuff, because I just met so many fun people. Yeah, it was a really good time. So yeah, thank you for that compliment. But yeah, I am a photographer and I have all the equipment. That's like, I did my first podcast on my husband's phone because I just needed to do it. Like, I didn't want to set up. I didn't want it to be production. I just wanted to, like, get it out. But it's funny because after that, I was like, I should use my big girl camera because, you know, I have one. I have two. And I have a mic because I was a film student in Austin, so I've also done video stuff. So it's just funny because it goes from, like, podcast number 1 is on a phone, which phones do amazing. I'm so off track, but phones do amazing. But, you know, I decided to switch, and so it's like she decided to do YouTube, and then she got, like, a whole new setup, but I didn't invest in a whole new setup. I already had it. Anyways, so on the topic of phones being amazing, I do not think you need, like, a fancy camera. I do have a camera that I really like using because I've just used it for years. But yeah, just get yourself a phone, and honestly, I really do like being creative. I love using stuff in my photography. Like, I collect a lot of reference books, like old reference books. I have a mushroom one that I love. I have a wildlife, like, animal one that I love. I have some butterfly ones that I love. I feel like I put those on my pictures a lot. So I will just, like, style my pictures, like, if it's on my bed or something. Literally all you need is, like, a sheet. I feel like for your, you know, your Knitstagram picture, a lot of people just use their bed sheets. Now I do that too. I just, like, pull all my covers back, use my bed sheet, like, lay it on there nicely, fill up the frame. And sometimes I'll put stuff around it, like I'll put some dried flowers I have, or like a basket with yarn. I just kind of compose it like I want to. I don't know, I just kind of do it. So I think just, like, get creative and try stuff. But all you need is a phone, honestly. I do use, like, Lightroom, because, you know, I had it and that's what I've always edited with. But I don't think you need that. I think you just need a phone. Or something to take a picture with. And just I would recommend, like, a clean background maybe, especially because I feel like showing off your knits, you want to show off your knits, right? You don't want it to be too busy. So yeah, I mean, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just do what feels right. Be creative. Go for it. And I've taken a lot of pictures that I don't post because, you know, I don't like them. But I just still do it because it's fun. So yeah, I don't know if those are helpful tips. And it's funny because sometimes I'll go through, I feel like I take, like, a few minutes to really set up a scene. Sometimes I'll hang, like, hangers on my wall too. I've done that before whenever we lived at an apartment that had a lot of wall space. I would just, like, get a tack and hang a wooden hanger up and then my knits, and it looks great, you know, that's all you need. And I thrifted the wooden hanger. So yeah, little stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes I go and do, like, a big production just to, like, be creative and get fun, and I feature, like, a lot of stuff, like a lot of books and just a lot of stuff around a flat lay specifically. But honestly, not that I, like, care about likes or anything, but sometimes the ones that are just your sheet and your project do better, like, at least on my Instagram, do better than, like, the big production ones. Not big production, but, you know, just, like, more creative ones. So just do what feels right, you know? Do what feels right. Do what's fun, because in the end it's, like, fun, right? It's a hobby. So yeah, so I really do enjoy taking pictures of my knits because right now, at this point in our life, we did stop. I think the last wedding we did was in September, which we were still in Washington. It was in Montana. It was so much fun. But yeah, that was the last wedding we did and the last really big shoot we did. We have been doing stuff for a brand that we work with regularly on a monthly basis. But we did stop advertising for weddings. I got a lot of inquiries at the end before we left. It made me so sad because, you know, we were moving and I didn't want to have to fly. I'm not good on planes. I didn't want to, I don't know, it was just a lot of stress. And, like, we knew we wanted to move back. And at one point we knew we were moving back. And, you know, I got my new job so we could move back because it's remote. And we also had, like, babies on our mind. So we were like, maybe we should just, you know, like, take a little break. So yeah, we're not doing much photography anymore, especially me. I'm not doing much photography anymore besides, like, brand work for a certain brand. But so it's fun to, like, stay in my house and get to be creative, you know, take a break from knitting and, like, take a few photos. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I think my advice for everything is just do it. Just try it out, and, you know, I'm sure you'll figure out what you like too. Because, like, some things are trendy, but honestly, what matters the most is what you enjoy doing and what you like. So, yeah, that's my hot tip. if you have any photography tips, if you're watching, put those in the in the comments too, because you might have better tips than I do. But yeah, I wonder if that's the last. I think that was the last question. Yeah, a lot of how did you meet your husband? Oh wait, are you excited for fall, winter? What are your knitting plans? Okay, I do. This is gonna be the last one to talk about. Yes, I'm excited for fall and winter. I'm not sure why, but I've been just dying for fall. I think it's the really hot weather. Last year I was very excited for summer. I was casting on all sorts of summer knits. I kind of talked about it, but I didn't wear a lot, but I was still casting on summer knits here, left, right, you know. And like I was just so into summer knits, and then once fall came around, I did not want to knit sweaters. I did not want to knit sweaters, and I was like, I just still want to knit these quick summer knits. But this year, totally different. I mean, I'm knitting this one, and this is my first real summer sweater. Not summer sweater, summer tank top. My outline tank that I made, I started that last August. So I started that last summer and I finished it this spring. So that doesn't really count. So this is really the only summer knit I'm making. So yeah, I don't know what got into me, but I am really excited for fall. I think I want to do a video where it's like planning for fall. You plan for fall with me. I have so much saved in my Ravelry, and we're also having our baby this winter in December. So I think I'm gonna be on a really big baby kick. I mean, I already kind of have been. I'm taking a tiny break, sort of, right now. But I think once we get closer, I'm just gonna be like a Bethany from Well Loved Knits. I think I'm gonna be on a baby marathon, as she calls it. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. I have things in my Ravelry. I talked about, I can't pronounce it, but the Kuutar Pullover by, is it Sari Nordland? Maybe I said her name right that time. But I have that one on my mind, and I think once I cast off the halibut, I will 110% cast that one on. And it'll just be like a slow, fun fall knit. And actually I want to make some transitional pieces because it's still pretty hot here, like in the fall. It could be hot here in the winter, you never know. So I think transitional, like summerish, fallish pieces will last longer, at least I will wear them for longer. And so I have been looking at t-shirts because I have like cotton merino that I think would be really nice. And I think I've decided what I'm probably going to do with that. I think I want to make a ranunculus, my first ranunculus. I've never made one, but I've looked at it forever on Ravelry. And I know everyone raves about it. People make like 10 because they just like it a whole lot. So I think I'm going to use my Knitting for Olive cotton merino. It's like in this not dark ochre, I think it's just called ochre. It's like right over there. I don't know if you can see it. It's in this really pretty orange color. Orange is my favorite color. So I think that's another reason why I'm excited for fall, because I love neutrals and orange. Yeah, anyway, so I think I'm going to make ranunculus in that one. So that's like one fallish transitional piece. And I watched this new to me podcast. I will put her name somewhere. I want to say it's the Orange Couch. I've been watching that all morning long. And I just found it today. I mean, she's had podcasts for a while. But I think because I've started my own like YouTube just for knitting, my algorithm is finally just knitting, so I'm finding a lot of really good podcasts that I've just didn't even know existed. Because maybe my algorithm is just, it's like, oh, she only wants knitting, so we'll give her all the knitting. So anyways, I'll put her link in the description for sure, and I'll put her name up here. But she has been making a ton of summer stuff, and everything she showed, I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. And I really liked the retro top by, oh god, I can't even say this name. I'll put it up there too. I really love that one. It's like this, it's not a cardigan, but it's this, how do you say it, like this tank top with buttons down the middle. And I really like that. And I think that would be a really good fall transitional piece, and I can make it, I have a sweater I thrifted, actually, that is like linen and cotton, and I think I don't wear it that much. It's a cardigan actually, and I want to rip it up and like reuse the yarn for stuff. So yeah, oh, and that's another thing. I've never knit myself a cardigan before. I've never knit a cardigan before. And I think that would be really nice to have during the fall, winter, even right now, because I always like carry a jacket with me if I go in places. Like if we go out to eat or something, I'll carry a jacket because I just get cold. Even though it's freaking hot outside, it can be cold inside. So I really want to knit me a cardigan. and I've been looking at some. I know what I want to knit it in. I want to knit it in the Baracco vintage worsted that I have that I'm gonna rip up, and I have some like hanks left, but I'm definitely gonna need more, so I'm gonna rip up my sweater that's too small for me. And it's this really pretty orange color again. And I've been looking at a few cardigans. I've been eyeing Ozetta. What is it called? She has a few cardigans that I really like. The only thing is, I think they're called for DK weight, and I have that yarn I have is worsted. But I'm just wondering if I can make it happen. Maybe I'll still swatch. Maybe I'll actually swatch and see if I can make it happen. And I love looking on Ravelry, because if I'm like, oh, I have this yarn, but like, will it still work? I love looking for those people who did a different weight yarn, like they naughtily did a different weight. So there's one person who did worsted weight. Everyone else did DK. But hers looked really good. And I was like, you know what, maybe I can swing it. We'll see. I wish I could remember the name. I mean, it was very, very, very popular whenever it was first like tested and came out. Just like your basic cardigan, you know? And I've also looked at the Felix cardigan, of course. I really like the lacework details on the raglan increases. It just feels so woodsy to me, and I love woodsy, so I don't know. So yeah, anyways, I'm very excited for fall and winter, and yes, I do have plans. I think I do want to make a bigger video and like organize all my thoughts and my plans, and I really want to start making like just like a big, I don't know, just like organize a list of everything I want to make. Sometimes I'll think of something and I'll forget it. So yeah, I'm thinking t-shirts, tank tops, sweaters, cardigans, neutral stuff, and then of course baby stuff too. Because I think once I finish my halibut sweater for my husband, I think that's like my last gift knit for the year. Because you know what? I'm having a baby in December, and I just want to knit for my baby. And I've knit like hats and stuff before, but honestly it's so hot here. Unless, you know, my family goes on a trip or something, they don't really wear them that much. Unless it just gets super cold here. So, I don't know. I did knit my grandma some socks last year. That's the only two people I've completed a pair of socks for are my unborn child and my Nana twice. I made her Ozetta's campfire socks, camp socks, one of her sock patterns. It's worsted weight, or maybe it's bigger than worsted weight. I don't know. It's just like a comfy, cozy home sock pattern. So, I don't know. Oh, okay, I was like, I don't know where I'm going with this. So yeah, after the halibut sweater, that's my last gift knit for this year. So I'm giving myself space to knit, you know, me some stuff, my baby some stuff, and we're just gonna have a really fun time. I'm excited. So yeah. Anyways, okay, I think I should probably wrap up. I haven't gotten any notifications from work, but I'm sure I will soon, so. Thank you for joining me on this lunch break knitting chat. I hope you had a fun time. I feel like I was so scrambled. I'm always scrambled, but maybe you enjoyed my long stories. Or if you didn't, that's fine too. So yeah, I don't know how much I got done. I was like kind of distracted. I mean, I got some stuff done, so, you know, maybe you got some stuff done too. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you just sat and watched. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Maybe next time I don't know if I'm gonna do a podcast next time or if I'm gonna wait. I actually have been making a lot of progress on all my stuff, so maybe I will. But I also want to make a plan with me video, so maybe I'll do like a fall plan with me. I don't know, we'll see. But thanks for sticking around, and I guess I will see you next time. Bye!